A groom gone missing. The air was still cool, but it promised to be a sunny day, when on Monday morning Ella stood in the lane, valise in hand, waiting for Lady Agnes's driver to pick her up. "I'm glad you've come," Lady Agnes greeted her enthusiastically. Ella nodded. She felt rather antsy, not sure if her decision was right. Shouldn't she have gone back to Pedro's flat again, looked for other clues? Maybe he had returned there, and all her worries were unfounded. She could have gone to the police, even maybe to the court where the contract was voided, to find out more. But here she was, and it was futile to think about what she could have done. They rode in silence for a while, slowly leaving the London traffic behind into the countryside. "You must know, the old Mr. Danforth is quite unpleasant. I shall avoid him as much as possible." "Then why is he even hosting the wedding?" "That, my dear, is what we will have to investigate." Ella did not feel like being part of any other investigation than her search for Pedro. But knowing Lady Agnes, she would not leave the topic be, so Ella haphazardly suggested, "Maybe it is out of some sense of duty or obligation." "My dear Miss Everett, where have your wits gone? A man of his age and station has no duty or obligation, not for hosting a wedding." "So what is his relation to the groom, Peter Danforth?" "That is another mystery, my dear. That one kind of appeared out of nowhere. I surely have never seen him, or nor even known the elder Mr. Danforth had a grandson. You see, my dear, there's lots for us to do." She shot Ella a conspiratorial glance. "I guess there is," she shrugged. That is how Lady Agnes included Ella in her personal investigation. Should Ella tell her about her own? For now she decided not to. She did not want to spill Pedro's secrets to yet another person before talking with him about it. The motor car approached Danforth Estates. It was a huge property with large stables. Lady Agnes explained that Danforth was known especially for breeding the finest horses. When they arrived at the grand manor, Ella was taken by the view. "It's magnificent, is it not?" Lady Agnes sighed. "It's a shame that grumpy man acquired it. Your Duke was an exceptionally fine man, but alas, a gambler. Danforth did not even buy it for the full price. Can you imagine? One of the finest estates now in the hands of a mere businessman." "It is grand. Would have made a fine clinic for recovering officers." "Oh dear, you are a nurse. Lucas Danforth surely knew how to avoid that. He usually doesn't even entertain guests. Now, hordes of medical stuff. Never. Interesting, he does entertain a wedding. Interesting indeed." A lonely figure stood on the grand stairs leading to the entrance of the manor to greet them. It was a young woman, leaning on crutches, one arm lifted in a wave, using a dress that was the style of before the war and must have been mended quite a lot. She had thick, blonde hair flowing in waves down her back, a most beautiful face, and grayish-blue eyes that were sparkling in anticipation. As the motor car stopped and Lady Agnes's driver opened the door for her, she hopped down the stairs on her crutches. "Godmother, I am so happy you are finally here." They hugged and kissed. "Now look at you. You have grown up, my dear. Where is the rest of the party? Are our hosts not coming to greet us? And your uncle?" "They have gone shooting. I must say I'm rather glad about it. The elder Mr. Danforth, he does scare me." "Yes, he has that about him. But don't fear, my dear. We are here, so you won't be alone any more. Let me introduce you to my companion. I know you expected Rosa to come, but she did not feel well." Ella had already exited the car on her own when she was called over. "Marian, This is Miss Eleonora Everett. She is a highly accomplished nurse and has studied social sciences. She helped me tremendously with my plans for the charity. Ella, may I present to you Lady Marian MacArthur? Ella was surprised to learn the young woman in front of her was indeed titled. Her dress certainly did not give the impression. It's a pleasure to meet you, my lady. Ella bobbed a curtsy. Oh, please do call me Marian. That title is but a nuisance, telling me what I can and cannot do. Ella smiled. It's Ella then. That's what everyone calls me. No sister? No, I resigned for now. Although when I was in the war, I rather liked it. It gave you a kind of authority that you'd never have otherwise as a young woman amongst an army full of men only. That must be true. Now, for the title, all it does give me is people speaking nicely while they address me, and then ugly behind my back. Because you don't tell a lady. Because you don't tell a lady that she's an ugly cripple, but of course everyone thinks I am. Are you sure? Ella exclaimed in surprise. She had been rather struck by the beauty of her face, the blonde curls framing it perfectly, the greyish blue eyes shining, although there was a sad touch to them. It's ironic to think that I will be married precisely because of that dreadful title. He is marrying you because of your title? What else should I have that any man could be interested in? But how is that even possible? It's rather rare, I think, but my family line has the right to inheritance for female offspring if there is no male direct child. The title then passes to the husband of the girl. Ella looked at her astonished. Lady Agnes had to insert herself into the conversation. She is quite special in that way, isn't she? But now, your fiancé, did he go shooting as well? I am rather keen on meeting him. Marian's face changed from a happy, chatty one to one of worry. He is not here yet. They say he has business in London and is going to come soon. That as long as he's there for the wedding, there's nothing to worry about. But I am worried, you know, Agnes inserted. And best you'd be. It is not good form of a man not to at least greet his fiancée when she has travelled such a long way to come and marry him. I will not give my blessing to this marriage unless I have a chance to speak with that man before the ceremony. Marian laughed. Godmother, unfortunately, no one depends on your blessing for it to occur, although I'd rather like to have your support. He is not as bad as you think, you know. I know, dear, as you are writing of him in glowing terms. But I cannot shake off the feeling that there's something wrong, and be assured I will find out. Ella had just settled into her room and wanted to go out to start her search for any clues of Pedro's relation to Mr. Danforth and some relative of Marian's when she heard a knock on the door. When she opened, Marian stood there timidly. I'm awfully sorry to interrupt. So much about Ella's plan to go out and explore the house. She would have to do that at a later hour. Oh, no problem at all. How can I help you? My godmother said you're an accomplished nurse. Is that true? Well, yes, I served on the front line in the war. Did you, she nervously twitched her fingers, treat people who lost a leg as well? Of course, my dear. Ella was slowly starting to see where she was heading. I have worked in clinics for the recovering as well. Some of them would have to relearn how to walk and do the most basic tasks. And in her mind she added the great problems that posed for many of them, feeling useless, a burden to their families, unable to do their work anymore. They had lost more than one of them. Ella would tell Marian nothing about that, of course. She must have enough struggles with her situation on her own. So, could you maybe help me with my prosthesis? I got one made only months ago, and I did try and train with it, but I must have made some mistake because it started to ache more, and now I can't even walk on it for more than a minute. That's why you're back on the crutches? You do manage them quite expertly. I've had a lifetime of practice, but I would rather prefer to be able to walk down the aisle without them. I will see what I can do. Unfortunately, I don't have my kid with me. This whole invitation was very sudden, you see. She can be quite convincing, can't she? Marian replied, and Ella immediately understood the reference to Lady Agnes. They went to Marian's room in order to look at her injury and the prosthesis. She seemed to slowly get more comfortable in Ella's presence. He showed her the prosthesis. It was quite skillfully made, one of those Ella's patients would have to apply to get financed. I'm quite sure it was him who gave it to me. Your fiancé? Yes. The doctor who came one day to measure it out never said who had sent him, just that everything was taken care of. And that's how it went. A month later they came with the prosthesis and showed me how to use it. It must have been him. I could not think of anyone else who could do that. So he does care for you. To be honest, I am hoping for it. I mean, he has been clear. He is not marrying me for love. But also, he was rather kind when he came to get to know me this spring. That does count for something, doesn't it? I'm sure it does, dear. Now, let's have a look at your leg to see where the problem lies. It was quite different from what Ella was used to seeing. When she had treated soldiers who lost a leg, usually the muscular structures which had once held the leg were still there and only required a little training to be accustomed to a prosthesis. But Marian seemed to have developed her muscles quite differently, and the doctors had not really taken that into account when they had made the prosthesis. There were sore wounds that would have to be treated with a salve, and the muscle would have to be built up slowly and with specific training. Ella was not sure she would be able to achieve much in a matter of days. She did not have the heart to explain that to Marian, though. Instead, Ella showed her a few techniques for massaging the stump to incentivize the musculature, and then wanted to head out to ask in the kitchen if there was some salve for the sores in the house. She was almost out of her room when Marian called her. Ella, can I ask you something? What is it, dear? Have you ever had the feeling that there's something wrong, but you just can't put your finger on it? Ella nodded. She certainly knew that feeling. Usually it resulted in her being involved in some kind of investigation that brought to light quite heavy injustices or even crimes. It had more than once put her into quite dangerous situations. And more than once it had resulted in Pedro having to come to rescue her. Pedro. Would there be a possibility to ask her discreetly if she knew about any relationship he had with her uncle? Ella sighed. What is it you are thinking about? Well, you see, I don't really buy that story of my fiancé being in London on business. It does not feel like him. He never talked of business, just of his experience as a soldier in the war. And he would at least have sent me a note explaining his absence. Did he correspond with you? Well, not precisely, but you see, that's what I'm trying to say. I can't put my finger on it. Something just feels off. But you're not doubting your fiancé himself, as Lady Agnes is, are you? No, not at all. Please, Ella, will you help me find out what is happening? Ella was hesitating. Marian was the second person who asked her to take part in the investigation on young Mr. Danforth. But every hour that passed without her finding clues about Pedro's whereabouts was taking her farther from finding him.